Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Second Cup of Coffee. Pastor Tom here, again with Jay Santos. We liked the conversation so much last week, we decided to continue it. We started having conversation off camera, and we were like, man, we really need to talk about that more fully. So we're not going to change. We're going to record this in 4 separate weeks, but it's going to be the same conversation. So I want you to hang with us. Let me get some business out of the way. What I mean by not change, we're not changing our shirts. So if you're like, hey, he's still got the same blue shirt, we filmed it all at the same time. He's not just so attached. I'm not so attached to this shirt. Second thing is, please subscribe. Second Cup of Coffee, RCC Second Cup of Coffee, YouTube. You can find these, share them. You can share them on Facebook and whatnot. So let's get into it. We're coming, Jay. We're opening. We're according to California, although it doesn't seem like anybody in California. If you're not in California, bear with us. We were quick to close and slow to open, but we're supposed to be open. Yeah. I went through Costco without a mask on, and I felt like a full-blooded American again. I was like, whoa! I just had one question. When are the samples coming back, man? I still no samples.
They were there today.
Were they?
I was there today. They were there today. They're back again.
Yes, so we are open. Anyway, in all seriousness, though, we're going to face some challenges. And the reason we're having this conversation is he did 4 weeks back earlier in the year about alignment, which we talked about last week, and some spiritual things. But one of the things, either you said it in a message or you said it to me privately, I can't remember, but the damaging part of isolation and what that does to relationships and what that does. So can you just talk about that a little bit? Because I think coming back in, even though we've been at church, I mean, it's starting to open more. What do you see with what's happened because of isolation? Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, so the thing with isolation, the hardest part about it is that you don't have that relationship anymore. So you start to lose your relationship with people, with family, with friends, and we're not made to be alone. God never made any of us to be by ourselves.
Scriptural, it's not good that man be alone.
Right.
Right.
That's Genesis. Why he gave Adam Eve.
Right.
That was the whole presence behind that. So the thing about it is that when we get to that place where we're coming back out now, getting out of this place of being secluded, we're still in that me mentality, that protection mentality that we're stuck in. Right. Everyone was in that mode that I was protecting myself from the virus and the things that are going on, and not understanding everything that's being said, that's coming through the media and stuff. So everybody is kind of anxious in a way.
Right.
Now you're coming back out. Now you have to start working on those relationships again, those things that you were missing. Because people start phone calls, but they don't always stay there.
Right.
You'll get the chats that'll go on. It won't always stay there.
Right.
Because you just become more about yourself. So now it's reaching out again.
I want to throw a verse in. Proverbs 18:1 says, "A man who isolates himself seeks his own desire." You become inward focused.
Right.
It's a little different. Isolation was kind of forced on us in a sense. But you do, like you said, if you have kids, you're worried. I think about the vaccine. What if the government says I have to vaccinate my kids, right? Well, vaccinate my kids. That's an issue for me, right? So there's things that you think about, and you become me focused. It's not completely just, hey, I'm self-absorbed, but there's mask was a big thing, right? Is it about me or is it about the other person? And there was that tug of war, right? Even in the church. Over and over again. Yep. So it says that you seek your own right, and he rages against all wise judgment. And I'm wondering if you could speak to this about, we're saying reopening, kind of getting back into relationship. I think one of the challenges is I think people are reticent to re-engage relationship based on what they think somebody else thinks, either politically or, I don't know if you've ever gone there in your mind, like if you're distant from somebody, like, well, this is what they think of me. Yeah. Could be completely not true, right? But our minds tend to go there. So do you have any insight into that about how we can equip ourselves to continue to engage? Because you're going to hit obstacles. You're going to hit road bumps.
You are. And the thing, I think a perfect example is the whole mask thing, right? So, we're being freed from the mask. But the thing about it is there's still people that are going to be on that cautious side, right? And they might be friends of yours, they might be acquaintances of yours, or people that you'll run into. And they'll make a decision that they maybe feel a little bit more comfortable in certain situations that they'll wear one, and you feel that you don't need to.
Right.
But the idea of it is understanding and having that compassion within yourself to sit there and say, okay, I'm good with what they're doing. I'm going to do, what I'm doing, how I feel comfortable with what I'm doing and what I feel that God's telling me. And what they're doing, I'm hoping that they're feeling comfortable with you. And it doesn't bring that separation. So it helps to bring back that foundation of relationship. It's okay that you're different than I am.
Right.
You don't have to look like me. You don't have to dress like me. You can wear the mask. I don't wear the mask. Who cares?
Right.
It's about the relationship with the person.
Right. Because then it's not me focused anymore.
Right.
And I think that's the point Jay is getting at, is coming out of isolation, we're me focused, but we have to start turning our vision towards other people. Not just, mask is a great example. Like, is it about me or is it about that person? So if me, right? If say I went to visit J&D and Ileana and I went over for dinner, and they were like, hey, we would appreciate it if you wore your mask, after we're eating. Okay. One, it's their house. Two, it makes them comfortable. And Paul says in the scripture that I don't want to do something to stumble somebody else, even though I have freedom.
Right.
Right. I don't have to. Right. But it doesn't break the relationship. Okay, let's move past masks because I know it's a hot topic, and some people are probably like adamantly disagreeing with me right now. Well, they should just get. Well, I get it, but you don't have to wear it. You heard him. And he doesn't wear them necessarily. But the point of the matter is, even if you're getting upset about the topic of mask, is it because you're so adamant about the science, which you might be, or is it because there is this focus on yourself? And what I mean by that, Jay, is that we got so connected to the screen in our downtime, we kind of became intoxicated with our own opinions. And I think that could be as raging, right? You talked about that in your messages, and we talked about it, raging against any wise judgment. If it could be wisdom to do something, but it goes against my opinion, and so now I rage against that.
Right. How do
we start to move past that, my opinion, as opposed to what's wisdom?
Well, I think first you have to get out of yourself. I think that's the best thing, is you have to get out of yourself and understand that people are people. I mean, we all need to work together so that we can unite again, right? Because the enemy comes to bring division. He's always been here to bring division. We can't let division become part of our life. So no matter what, you need to be able to sit there and understand that people are people. And no matter how we go about conversing with them or meeting them or things, you'll take them for who they are and not for what they do or what their political agenda is or what it might happen to be. Is that a person? Are they human? God created them. So I need to treat them that way. And that's how you got to break that barrier of that part of division that wants to fight against, because the enemy is going to destroy, and what he wants to do is destroy. So in division, you will destroy. Because we're stronger in unity. And the word even talks about that. Yeah. We're stronger in unity. And if we're not united as a people, just as a people in general, then we're divided. And every house that's divided against itself will fall. Right?
So next week, what I want to talk about is this. It's in Proverbs 4:3-5, but it says, get wisdom, get understanding. How are we going to marry that into what we just talked about? You have to engage people to see and find the wisdom that's in them. And I think that's really important for us to bring that out in the next conversation, because I think people are doing this because they assume that I assume that I know what you're already thinking.
Right.
When that may not even be the case.
Right.
Or I'm assuming that I am absolutely correct in my opinion, and that may not be the case. And it's not until I engage you and have that conversation that it starts to become clear what's wisdom and then what's just my opinion. Right. So join us next week. I think this is valuable stuff. I know it is. It's helping me even as we're having this conversation, because I'll just be honest, in myself, sometimes I want to distance myself rather than having to have the conversation. But I find that when I make myself available to the conversations that God leads and the Spirit guides, I come out a whole lot better. We love you. God bless you. And we'll talk to you next week.